some more green screen paper, though, to try it again next time. But I also added myself into the video in character. Remember the face cal and the 3D glasses?
Yeah, boy. My boy
I
Chet's
added that
back in the
on,
building. I'm fucking loving it.
what I did is, instead of saying anything, I just posed and pretended I was speaking so that I could just stop, sit down, record the lines, then just dub them over footage of me looking like I'm talking.
Yeah, because your face is covered anyway.
Yeah,
Like
so
your
I can
mouth is
just
covered, so
like,
people can't really
I
like
just
try
turn
to
my
lip sync.
head, go like this.
Makes sense.
It's gonna be good. I think it's going good. Are you ready for some podcasting action?
I think I am, sir. I think I am. All right, let's get to it. So we're gonna do it. Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to the HMG podcast hosted by my good friend Chet. Say hello, Chet.
Hey there, guys.
And of course, myself, Vega. And we are here to rock out, talk some video game stuff, and have a good time. So I hope you guys are ready to just vibe with us. Chet, what's going on, man? Let's just say hi for a second. What's up, bro? How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, actually. You know, there's rarely a time in my life where I can confirm that I won't be able to finish a game. But even with my schedule being freed up the way it is, I'm looking at Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and I'm already saying, I'm not finishing this. It's just too big.
It's just too
I'm
big.
looking at,
not doing it.
It's like, it's not going to happen. It's not physically possible.
Can I say that about every game I play then? Like, is that okay? Like, just every time I put a game in, like, yep, too big. Not going to finish this. Ever.
If the map is as big as Odyssey, sure. If you can prove that the map, it's not even the size of a small country. It's the size of several small countries. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, are they really small countries? It's based on like Greek mythology and like, or is it Greece or is it? Yeah, it's Greek, right?
No, there's a lot of stuff going on there. It's just, this is the kind of open world game that only Ubisoft can make, because it's just so ridiculously big, and they need so many people to fill this place with stuff to do. That said, it's actually pretty decent in terms of stuff to do. Like, nothing is forced, and I actually had more fun doing non-plot related stuff in the world than I did going through the plot, because the plot's just alright. But stuff is fun.
I've been hearing that a lot about Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Like, people are enjoying the side missions in a weird, like, I don't know, like, I've heard mixed feelings. Like, people are enjoying doing the side missions. It's easy to get lost in side missions, and that's why I avoid open world games as much as possible, because it's very easy to get lost in the side stuff. And like the last game that I loved that was open world was obviously Spider-Man, because the side missions still felt like part of the ultimate plot. But then you have games like, I don't know, what's something that I hated? Grand Theft Auto, for example, and I know this is going to be bad, but I hated Grand Theft Auto because none of the side stuff feels like it's part of the main game. And also my biggest issue is, like, I don't really care for the stuff that you're doing in that game. That's just not for me. But that's just a public opinion right there.
Just way to declare your hate for the most successful piece of media ever made in
incredible?
History. It is.
Like, literally the best piece of media of all time is Grand Theft Auto 5.
The best-selling piece of media in all time.
How? How does a game that comes from a series that has suffered from lawsuit after like public outcry after public outcry to get it removed from shelves still manage to outsell everything that exists? Like, that is mind-blowing, bro. That is craziness.
I guess that's the whole no news is bad news. You know, everything is free publicity.
Exactly. And it also kind of plays to the fact that, like, we have an unsatiable desire for doing the thing that we're not supposed to do. That's really what it comes down to.
Too.
Grand Theft Auto is all about breaking the rules in life, and that's what we do. We just break rules, and we're satisfied with breaking rules. It's kind of crazy. But if people are cool with that, then cool. Yeah, break all the rules you want, my man. Especially if you're doing it in a video game where it's not gonna have any type of real social impact. I'm totally for it. Do your thing.
Yeah. I'm just hoping more games like scale down the open worldliness of everything because it is getting ridiculous. Getting a bit ridiculous. Like we know we can make the big ones.
That's what she said.
And it even felt like I was actually playing other games. You want to know something? For a brief moment during this game, I was suddenly playing Dynasty Warriors.
How? Wait a second. I might have to play Assassin's Creed Odyssey if we're talking about Dynasty Warriors, bro. You know how I feel about Dynasty Warriors. They get it. They get the game. They get the damn thing done.
Okay, so I'm being really hyperbolic here, but there's a conquest section in each like little country where you have to fight in a battle that will determine the fate of the country, and it basically turns it over to Sparta or Athens, whoever you're fighting for at that time, which you switch allegiances pretty much in every location, so it doesn't matter, but you get out into this big battle, and there's tons of people to fight and a ton of people with you to fight. You're just not slashing down literally 500 enemies in one sword like you are with Dynasty Warriors. But you are
makes sense. That makes a lot of sense.
Suddenly engaging in this dungeons, not in this keep siege event, where you have to kill so many of the enemies to win the battle, and then out of nowhere, I'm just fighting, and then suddenly a mid-boss appears. And he's just a mercenary from the game, but because I didn't kill him, he just shows up and it's like, I'm a mini-boss in this fight now, what are you going to do about it? And it's like, so not only am I playing Dynasty Warriors, but I'm also playing Shadow of War?
How many games are you playing in this damn game? Wow. Yo, Ubisoft is on point when it comes to like blending video games and different like concepts from different games.
Yeah, a lot of people keep trying to say it's like The Witcher 3. And yeah, if you're talking about scale and size, sure, the rest not so much, but just those two things I said are things that are unique to that game. Like, it's not quite those other things. It's just, it's like it. It's its own thing. Stop calling it other games. It's Assassin's Creed.
It's not really Assassin's Creed anymore, and that's why so many people are calling it by different names, because Assassin's Creed Assassin's Creed as a series has probably seen the most changes of any series that exists right now. Like, every iteration has been, well, not every iteration has been drastically different, but for the most part, like, all the newer iterations have had a drastically different thing happening than the originals. You know, if you think about Assassin's Creed 1 and then the Ultimate Assassin's Creed trilogy, you know, of 2 Brotherhood and Revelations, like, those games were very, very driven by like the Animus story. They were driven very heavily by the idea of stealth, like combat and assassination and being part of the Templar. And like Assassin's Creed Odyssey doesn't even have a Templar. Like, yeah, that has nothing to do with the story.
The plot isn't like that, but honestly, the game is still there. It's just been dramatically changed. Like, if you play it the way you want to play it and do the correct things, you can still play it like Assassin's Creed. I was worried going in that I was going to be fighting a ton of people in open conflict, which you do in the Conquest thing, but for the rest of the game, if you're like out in front of a house, you can either, shoot everyone with your bow, you can run in and assault everyone, or you can do Assassin's Creed and assassinate everyone from the shadows. I've been able to do that, and I've been happy with it because I was expecting not to be able to do that. But you still can, and they move the focus into the combat and away from the climbing because they know that the climbing thing is like overplayed, so they super simplified it. Pretty much, you can run up any wall anywhere, and as long as you're holding the trigger, you can walk like straight up the side of a rock without actually grabbing onto anything specific. You just, okay, I guess I'm climbing this rock now. There it is. It's like Breath of the Wild. There's another thing I can pointlessly compare it to for arbitrary reasons. You can climb straight up the side of a rock, just like in Breath of the Wild.
Wowzers.
Yeah, it's really fast too. Like, they really took the focus away from parkour. It's not about that, and that's the biggest change. But you can still assassinate people.
Is it Assassin's Creed without parkour? Come on, let's be real. Is it Assassin's Creed without parkour?
I don't know. Assassin's Creed 4 was pretty good, and this is also Assassin's Creed 4 because you got ship battles again. I forgot how much I love ship battles until I played literally 15 minutes of the ship battles in this game. I got out there, I started sailing, I fighted some guys. I'm like, oh man, I miss this. I can't wait till
Did you
Skull
just say
and Bones
fighted?
comes out.
Did you just say fighted? Fighted is not a word, Chet.
I know.
Ladies and gentlemen, please excuse Chet. He's a good writer. He's not a very good speaker.
No, I'm not.
I fighted. Well, on the topic of stealth games, there was an announcement this week that got me really excited. And it was the release date for a game that I've talked about before very, very briefly, but I'm going to try to talk about it again, and it'll still be briefly, simply because there isn't a lot of information about it. It's called Left Alive. It's a new stealth survival game coming from Square. And it's set in the Front Mission universe. So if you've ever played like any of the Front Mission games, which were like mech tactical RPG style games, this is set in that world. Did you get a chance to see the trailer that I posted on the site yet, Chat?
Yeah, it was really dramatic. It was
that. It looks freaking crazy, bro. Like, whoa, what is happening?
I mean, we're getting new, more engaging versions of like everything lately. Like, just to select another game that isn't a big franchise but has people who like it. Ace Combat. They're up to number 7 now, and it's coming out in January. And I've only played like 1 or 2 air combat games, well, specifically with jet fighters. And I'm looking at this game, and there's a big-ass story trailer for this game, and I'm like, so Ace Combat has a big-ass story now?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, everything is becoming, like, it's very interesting to see that as we shift into a world where there are way more multiplayer games than there are single-player games, we see the single-player games doubling down on their narrative progression. So, like, games like Left Alive, they're showing me the story trailer to get me more excited to play this game. Ace Combat 7, they're showing you the story trailer to get you excited. It's not the gameplay, not the fundamentals of blowing shit up. No, they're talking to me about the thing that's going to make this game different from the last version and different from the other stuff on the market. Ace Combat 7 is the type of game that I would absolutely think that I would like to play in VR, because as I was processing that sentence, I realized I'm terrified of heights, so I don't know what kind of impact that would have in VR.
Is it going to be in VR?
I don't know, but I really hope it is, because that makes perfect sense. Like, racing games
really
make
cool.
perfect sense.
Being in a fighter pilot cockpit.
A fighter
VR.
pilot makes perfect sense. Mech games make perfect sense. Like, they're so, like, anything that plays in first person makes sense in VR. And like,
oh, what else did we just get in VR? This like yesterday we got that trailer, right?
Oh, Borderlands 2, bro. What? Borderlands 2 is coming in VR. Now, it's going to be sans le multiplayer component, which I know is going to piss off a bunch of people, but it's Borderlands 2 in VR. Like, are you kidding me? This is fascinating. This is incredible. This is really, really, really exciting, because they're not even cutting the game short. It's literally the full experience. It's just like when I played Zone of the Enders in VR. Like, it's the whole game. And if I knew that at the beginning of my review, I would have just played Zone of the Enders only in VR. I would have just reviewed it as a VR game, because it's a remake, right? So, like, who cares what you review a remake at, to be real? Like, it's going to be the same great game that it was then, or the same awful game that it was then, and it's really just going to be based on the things that have changed and the time that you're playing in. However, if I would have started that shit in VR, a whole different game experience. That's a whole new game. And Borderlands 2 in VR is going to be a whole new game. And I'm the person who didn't even like, I didn't even love the Borderlands series. I didn't finish the Borderlands series. But now I'm inclined to say, I have a VR, I'm going to play Borderlands 2 in VR, and I'm going to enjoy the shit out of it.
Well, Borderlands 2, if you play the complete edition of that game, which is 4 expansion packs that are like 10 to 15 hours each, the campaign's around 60 hours, There's 5 bonus mission packs that are for raid battles, and those are about an hour and a half long to 2 hours each. It's big, and there's so much to do, and really, like, I don't want to say it's a masterpiece, but if we're talking about Gearbox, it is easily the best game Gearbox ever made.
I can
Name
see that.
a better game Gearbox made.
I don't want to show my fake gamerness, but I don't really know anything else Gearbox did, like, off the top of my head.
Exactly.
Which is a sign of how valuable this game really is, because I can't think of another game that Gearbox made off the top of my head immediately that I'm like, oh yeah, this is obviously a contender against Borderlands. No, Borderlands is the only thing that comes to my mind when I think Gearbox. Off the top. Gearbox, Borderlands. Done. That's where we're at.
That is where we're at.
But you're right. Like, and I'm pretty sure that because they said the full experience, I'm under the assumption this is going to include all the DLC. I may be wrong, and we'll have to, hashtag check the facts on that later. But I'm pretty confident because they said the full experience, this will include all of the DLC from Borderlands 2. So, like, you played Borderlands 2 extensively. Which of the DLC was your favorite?
Of all of the Borderlands 2 DLC?
Yeah.
Easy. Tiny Tina's assault on... I forgot how the whole title goes. Assault on the Dark Forest Dungeon thing.
Something. That's the girl with, like, the redhead, right? That's the redhead.
No, it's the 10-year-old girl who is voiced by Ashley Birch.
Oh, okay.
She's
okay.
like the one. No,
she did have red hair. Like, she had pigtails.
No,
right?
she was blonde. She was blonde.
Really?
Yeah,
no, I'm not talking about the voice actress. I'm talking about the character design.
Oh. No, yeah, the character. She's a 10-year-old with blonde hair.
Oh. Did she have pigtails?
No.
What the fuck game am I thinking of?
That is Borderlands 2. That is the DLC character who I'm now also forgetting the name of.
Oh, okay.
I believe it's Gage.
Okay. So it's just a different character. All right, so maybe it doesn't include the DLC because they really touted the 4 main Vault Hunters, but I don't know if that was just for the dynamic theme.
She was a DLC. She was a DLC hunter, Gage the Necromancer, and there was also another DLC guy called Krieg.
Okay. All right. Well, we
and
have
then the
no idea
downloadable
what they're
content
going to include.
Okay. Tiny Tina's Assault on Dragon Keep. That was so good it deserved this like standalone release. It makes fun of tabletop RPGs a lot. If you've ever played any RPG or even like card games, you're gonna have a blast because it just makes fun of those kind of environments.
Huh. I was in one of those environments yesterday, actually. Yeah, I went downtown. I live in New York now, as everybody probably has figured out. But I went downtown, and there was a gaming night at this place called Hex & Co. And it's like, the environment is freaking amazing. I got there like 2 hours late, so there was nowhere for me to sit and play, so I just watched for a little bit and then left. But it's definitely a dope-ass place to just go hang out, play some games. Like, they had dungeons. They had more games. Did you know that there's a Bloodborne board game?
No.
Yeah, they have a Bloodborne board game, bro. Like, I walked in this place and there's a Bloodborne board game. I was just like, this is fascinating. So definitely going to go back there again. I went off on that because you said something about board games. What was it? Oh, Tiny Tim's Adventure or something, right?
Tiny Tina's Assault on Dragon Keep. I don't know. We're going to have to do a lot of backtracking to get back to whatever it was we started at.
Well, no, we started off with Left Alive, which was talking about narrative games, and then we got all the way here, which is still a narrative game. So Borderlands 2 is still a narrative game.
This podcast is a narrative game.
His podcast is a narrative game. Man. Word. So let's talk about. I guess that was some video game news, but that was more like release dates and stuff. But let's talk about some industry things that are happening.
Yeah.
So first and foremost, I'm gonna call Microsoft on their bullshit. When the Xbox One was first announced, they were touting all of this crazy, like, super advanced communication about cloud gaming and doing all this cloud processing shit. And now we're in 2018. damn near like a year or two away from announcements of brand new consoles, and they're announcing, and if you can't see me, so I did air quotes, but announcing Microsoft xCloud, which is essentially the same thing that the Azure Cloud was. They're just rebranding it and trying to pitch it as if it's brand new, which is a smart move on their part. I give them that.
Yeah.
But I'm calling them on their bullshit. Like, you guys already said you could do this. Don't really know what you're trying to pull on me now. What's really going on here, guys? You're going to resell me the same marketing scheme that didn't work for the Xbox the first time, Phil? Come on.
It worked for the One S. I mean, the Xbox One S did sell better once it distanced itself from the original release. Of course, not having Dan Matrick also helped, but yeah.
Yeah, Dan Matrick, his name is not Dan, it's Don.
Don, yeah.
I was like, wait a second, who the fuck is Dan?
He does not deserve to be called by his real name.
Hey, he has a real name. Give the fucked up credit to the person who really messed up. Don't go crediting some guy named Dan for messing up.
He messed up twice because he messed up at Xbox and he messed up at Zynga. He double messed up. No.
How did he mess up at Zynga? Hard. Like, what do you... Zynga had,
makes
like...
all those multiplayer games that just...
That, like...
You know, the ones that profit off of selling you solutions to... They're, like, the same as, like, King Games. They did, like, what was...
No, I know what the Zynga... I know what Zynga games are.
Yeah.
They're like Farmville and shit.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, how did he mess that up? Like, the shit is a money-making machine by itself. Like, Zynga is literally...
He took over, their stock tanked.
They're literally like a coin slot machine at the casino. Like, you're gonna make money on this thing. You don't have to think about it. You could literally just put 10 of these in a row. No one ever has to come over here except to collect the money. That's the only job that exists.
Don Matrick did the impossible, and he made it fail.
That is ridiculous.
They're still around, but he's out.
That is ridiculous.
Oh, man.
So, all right. So, Chet, as an Xbox fanboy, talk to me. How do you feel about Microsoft xCloud or Azure Cloud or whatever kind of cloud they want to call it? It's just not cloud from Final Fantasy VII.
We're going to say I'm a former Xbox fanboy because I really am, over the years, disappointed in the number of things we were supposed to get and didn't. I still remember HoloLens. Do you remember HoloLens?
Well, yeah, no, HoloLens, when they first announced HoloLens, they flat out said, hey, we're announcing this on the Xbox stage, but this is never coming to Xbox. And in my head, I was like, wow, anybody who thinks that anybody who feels like Microsoft had a great press conference simply needs to look at this moment and say they spent 30 minutes of a 1.5-hour conference on a product that is never coming to Xbox.
Yes. I mean, it was a jaw-dropping presentation of a product that doesn't exist, but A+ for the presentation, right?
That presentation, like, Microsoft's presentation is always A1. I gotta give them that. Like, the exclusive voice in the background, like, the lighting, the stage, like, their presentation is always A1. But it's
They hyped it. They hyped the cloud computing thing, too. Yeah. You're absolutely right. Yeah, the xCloud thing. Like, They've been talking about it forever since Crackdown was first announced. They're like, oh yeah, Crackdown 3 is going to have cloud computing and it's going to run amazing because of this, and we haven't seen this. And
Crackdown 3 doesn't even exist.
Yeah.
Forget about Crackdown 3 doesn't even exist, and Crackdown was supposed to maximize on the use of this cloud that doesn't exist.
Like, I'll wait till they show me something that's actually working before I believe anything anymore.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to part of me is looking forward to cloud-based gaming, and part of me is not. Like, the part of me that looks forward to it, like, I'm gonna do this backwards. The part of me that doesn't look forward to it is the part of me that is completely aware of the fact that Wi-Fi is not great yet. We don't have universal coverage, so there will be people who will miss out on this. There will be times that are going to be super frustrating. And even if you connect direct using an Ethernet cable, like, there are still things that can happen along this pathway. Like, I've had things like dropouts or random things that happen when you play completely online based. However, with services like Xbox Game Pass and PlayStation Now, especially with PlayStation Now doing everything it can to catch up to Xbox Game Pass, we're walking into a world where we're about to have the official Netflix for video games. Or rather, not Netflix. I would say more the Hulu of video games. Because Netflix is only old stuff. So PlayStation Now was Netflix.
The Game Pass.
Yeah. Like, PlayStation Now was Netflix. Like, everything prior to 2018 was PlayStation Now being Netflix. I can go on there, pay them monthly to play some old stuff that I don't want to go look for anywhere. I can just see it here and play it. With the advent of Xbox Game Pass, like trying to do something that makes Xbox worthwhile, and PlayStation Now trying to catch up, now they're both more like Hulu of video games, where I can play the new shit. I just gotta wait a little bit after other people who bought the new thing, you know? And that's what excites me about internet gaming, is that we have that accessibility where I can go into a service, or like I can go into an app that's going to give me access to every type of game I want to play. And I'm going to be like we discussed before, I'm going to be reviewing like the PlayStation Now service and see if it's worthwhile. And I'll probably keep like constant updates for that coming to the site. But that's what excites me about the future of cloud gaming, is that like, but then there's the Switch cloud. God, they're not getting that right at all.
I was going to bring that up, but I thought you might get to it, and you did.
They're not getting it right at all. Like, their games, the Switch cloud games are exclusively on the cloud, so you can't play like, what was the big one that
it was Resident Evil 7.
Resident Evil 7. That's what I was just thinking. Capcom announced Resident Evil 7. What the fuck?
Like, you can't even play it in America, I don't think. I think it's only going to be Japan, because
it's Japan exclusive.
Yeah, they're the only ones who have that infrastructure. You were talking about
Japan
the whole, we don't have good Wi-Fi here.
Like, Japan as a country is about the size of New York as a state.
Yeah. They just have Wi-Fi they probably do that. I wonder how much of Japan has Wi-Fi.
I would confidently say that Japan is probably at like a 75% Wi-Fi coverage rate. Like 75% of Japan is covered. And I'm only saying 75 and not 100 because they still have like those weird mountain villages that exist. So I don't know if they have coverage up there. But then on the flip side, like those might be the places where the coverage is coming from. So yeah, 75 is my strong guess. I would confidently say 75.
But yeah, they got it. But yeah. So on you were saying about Resident Evil 7 Cloud Edition.
Yeah, like the whole concept behind like Switch trying to do cloud-based stuff. I think they're going too extreme on that. I don't know what direction Nintendo is trying to go with their cloud service. Like, it doesn't really, it's not adding up for me. I don't know. But I'm also not a Nintendo fanboy, so like I feel like the comment section for this podcast, if people comment, will be 100% hating me for not liking Grand Theft Auto and for not supporting Nintendo in everything they do blindly.
And I was supposed to be the annoying Xbox fanboy, but I don't know, you're really knocking them out of the park with disagreeable shit.
Knocking them out of the park right now. Killing them. Just killing them.
Got any other gaming news?
Yeah, we got a couple more things. So, still talking PlayStation, because PlayStation just has a lot of shit to talk about nowadays. Look at that. PlayStation Network game changes. Game changers. That's not the words that I was going to say. PlayStation Network name changing is officially in testing, which means it's really coming to consoles very soon. How soon? 2019 is the expected time frame.
Wow, name changer is a game changer. What do you say, stranger?
I don't like what you did there.
That was just, I wanted to make everyone cringe at that exact moment.
I didn't enjoy that. Didn't enjoy it at all. I feel like, for me, the name that I chose, I was 100% behind. Like I chose Super Vega as my game thing on every console. It's my handle on pretty much everything. However, as I'm transitioning into this next phase of my music and my art career, I won't be using that Super Vega name anymore. So this is coming at a perfect time. However, do I think that I'll change over? I don't know.
I've always had it available, but I've never gone for it, even though I've been known way longer for my Chet name than my Angry Scientist name now. But I've had that Angry Scientist name for 11 years, and I don't it's like I'd be giving something up if I got rid of that name.
Yeah, you feel like you're losing a piece of your identity.
Yeah.
But that is also why they allow name changing, because there are people out there who chose really bad names.
XX Dark Vegeta XX.
Oh man! So
420 69 W33D.
Can I tell you a story, chat, real quick?
Yep.
I don't have a lot of cousins. Like I say that all the time in my music interviews, and I don't think I talk about that much in the hard mode gamer world because it doesn't ever really come up because it's not about me. It's about the games we love. However, here's a quick story from my childhood. Also, part of the reason that I hate Halo. So back when Halo originally came out, I didn't have an Xbox. My cousin had an Xbox. Okay, and my cousin. When we played, we would always play, and we'd play multiplayer, and we'd be killing each other and all that shit, and we'd play story or whatever. However, his name on Halo on Xbox, this was Halo 1, so I don't remember if it had online. It probably didn't, but we always played local, and his name is exactly what I put in the article. It was Sergeant Ballsack 69. Yeah,
I thought you made that up.
No, it was his real name. He made that up. So, I could totally see somebody with a name like that wanting to change that as an adult. Because when he made that name, damn, I was probably 12 years old maybe, and he's 2 years older than me, so he was 14. Anywhere between the age of 12 and 15, I would say. I could totally see how this is probably not the name that he wants to give to somebody he wants to play video games with that works at his office with him or that he meets in a professional setting. Shit, I can't even really, I can't say this name without laughing in public, period. So anywhere that you go and you have to tell somebody that that's your gamer tag, that is cringeworthy.
Yeah, that's who this is for.
Exactly. And so on that side of it, it's yes, this is a part of your identity. That's not an identity anybody wants to have.
Yeah.
At all. At all. Anybody who wants to have that identity is obviously still in middle school. And it's not a knock on people in middle school, but it's just that's the mentality that you're in. You can't operate or navigate a real world with this as your gamer tag or as your PlayStation Network ID. So that's who it's for. But good old Sony just can't do it 100% right. That's never an option. It's never an option. We always got to fuck it up somehow. So here are some of the stipulations that go alongside changing your name. First, $10, in my opinion, is a lot to change your name. However, I recently found out that that's what Microsoft's been charging for the past 10 years anyway. So I guess it's on the money.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
I forgot that it costs money, but
that's crazy.
Now you brought it up.
$10 to change your I guess $10 to change your identity is not drastic, but damn, $10, bro, you gotta make better life choices. You really do. But on that front, the first time anybody changes their name, completely free, so that's cool. PlayStation Plus members only pay $5 to change their name, which not that bad, but in my head it's damn, better life choices, bro. You can't be out here throwing away $5 like that. That's nuts. Now, this is where it gets really complicated and ridiculous. Ready?
Yep.
First, name changes is not compatible with all games.
What?
So, Name changes will be 100% compatible with all PS4 games released after, wait for it,
Oh no.
April 1st, 2018. Now, that doesn't sound like a joke in itself. I don't know where your comedy or sense of
Who
humor
do
lies.
these people think they are? Nintendo?
April 1st, 2018, April Fool's Day, is the day that we're going to mark as far as like anything that's released after that will allow you to change your name. No problem.
We're gonna give you this feature, but you can't use all this feature. That's the Nintendo mantra.
Yeah, and it gets even more complicated.
Oh,
Then,
no.
the majority of the most played PS4 games released before this date will also be compatible. Now, I'm guessing there's like a list that Sony has that is going to determine that. But, I mean, when Fortnite's still in beta, so does that count?
Oh, I don't know. Considering all the great decisions they have made with Fortnite, I'm gonna say it will get affected.
It should, right? Like, I can't imagine why it wouldn't. But, shit, we don't know. Nobody would have ever thought that this would be a rule. And I got to do more research into when Microsoft made this possible for people to change their name. Like, was that always a feature?
I don't even know.
Huh.
I'm supposed to be the resident fan, but we know I've changed sides.
That's craziness. It's just outrageous to think like there's any type of stipulation to me paying $10 for anything. But then the final note is it's not going to work. So alongside that lines, obviously, it's not going to work with all PS4, PS3, or Vita games. Considering the fact that Vita is not on their target anymore, I'm going to go ahead and just say it's probably not going to work with any Vita games at all.
I wouldn't expect it to.
PS3 is last generation and almost about to be, it's practically on its way to being 2 generations ago. So very unlikely it's going to work with anything on PS3 that doesn't have like online support currently. This is where it gets a little confusing though, because if you play a game that doesn't support the name change, you will experience some sort of issues or errors playing this game. Now, those issues and errors have not been highlighted. I'm assuming that's why they're running the beta right now for anybody who has beta access. But if you run into any issues, PlayStation will let you revert back to your old ID free of charge.
Not gonna fix it. They're just gonna let you go on back.
What are we doing, guys?
Let me get this straight. So you can pay to have your name changed, but it may mess up some games that are older than April 1st, 2018. They don't know which ones are, but they will give you the ability not to get a refund, but to just go back to your old name so that these games aren't having said issue.
So yeah, go back to your shit-tastic name so you don't have this issue anymore.
Oh my god.
Yeah, no, not really feeling it. I don't. I'm
well,
glad
I hope it worked out.
Yeah, I'm glad that I chose a name that I'm 100% satisfied with, because otherwise, that shit would be crazy. Like to have to think of all that stuff, like that's outrageous.
Shout out to some guy on Xbox whose name I forgot and was playing Forza Horizon, who randomly joined my convoy, and then we both telepathically decided to just do stunts in an airport, try to outdo each other. And this was through no communication whatsoever. I just rolled up on this guy, challenged him, he said sure. So we started driving around on the airport. We were like, cool, this was fun. Spent 10 minutes. I took off after that. He got bored too. Perfect interaction. 10 out of 10. Forza's great.
I feel like that was more of a Forza shout out than it was a gamer shout out. Oh man!
Hey, it was a bro. He knew exactly what I wanted to do. I didn't have my headset in. I was just like, hey, want to chill for a bit? All right.
Want to just hang out? Cool. Let's do this. Flip, flip, flip. All right. Peace out, bro. Forza's great. Oh man. So Chet, what are you playing this week? Before we get up out of here.
Definitely, like, I have a huge influx of games, so I've already said enough about Assassin's Creed. I won't get into that. I haven't said enough about Forza, but if we did, let me say everything I need to say about Forza. We'd be here forever. Let me just say, it really is, like, the best racing game ever made, blah, blah. I know that's, like, a lot to say, especially a game that has been out that long, but it truly does do amazing things, and anyone who's ever been done wrong by racing games, which I did get a friend to look at, I said, hey, look, he said he hated racing games, and he explained why, and it was all these things that were terrible things of the past. I'm like, play this. And he did, and he agreed that the game was good, even though he still doesn't want to play a racing game. And it's as difficult or easy as you want it. You can make it Super Simulator, or you can make it an arcade racer. It's that customizable of an experience, and there's so much to do. It's fun. It's got a great soundtrack. It checks all the right boxes. What have you been playing? I have more, but we need to hear one from you first.
Dude, I've been completely invested in Valkyria Chronicles since I stopped playing. Well, not stopped playing, since I finished Spider-Man. I didn't 100% it like
you played Spider-Man for 13 minutes straight, right? 13 minutes. 13 hours.
Yeah.
Straight, correct?
I played Spider-Man for a little bit longer than 13 hours. It was like it was probably like closer to 16. Like it was literally the whole day by accident.
Has Valkyria gotten you that hard or not yet?
So the thing with Valkyria Chronicles that doesn't allow that to happen is the way that the story progression happens in between. So like if it was like mission to mission, I would totally be in Valkyria Chronicles for days, probably forget to eat and stuff like that. But with the breakup and with like the stories in between and the way it kind of forces you to keep the control in your hand. Oh yeah,
it's one of those ones where it just, every single line of dialogue is waiting for a button prompt, isn't it?
Exactly. So you can't really just like get fully, like it gets annoying to keep doing that, especially when you're not playing. You're just interacting with essentially a cutscene. But if it weren't for that, I would definitely be fully invested in it completely. The next thing that I'm going to be playing, though, what I'm like, once I finish up this review for Valkyria, I'm going to put it aside for a little bit because I love playing it so much that I just like to extend it and just be able to just say, hey, I want to do a battle today and go in and do it. I'm going to dive into Yakuza Kiwami 2 so I can finish that review.
Ooh.
But alongside doing that review, I'm also going to take some time to finally play Nier Automata, which you told me to play damn near 2 months ago.
I'm really concerned I've oversold this game now because it has a lot of time to live up to.
No, I think I mean I've seen tons of videos. It's definitely like I played the original Nier, so I know what I'm getting into as far as like the craziness and the gameplay style. So I'm really looking forward to that. I really want to dive into like my next thing is to dive into more third person action games that are not open world because Spider-Man left like that desire on me, and I do have a bunch of games that I got to catch up on, like Devil May Cry, for example, or Nier Automata, Neo.
I just recently learned that I should play the Devil May Cry games, because I explained to everyone that over a very short amount of time, I became a huge Platinum Games fan, because every single game I played by them has been amazing, and they're always these over-the-top amazing adventures, and it's like, bro, that's like Devil May Cry made that happen.
Exactly.
Like, really? And like, I'm checking it out. I already watched someone playing the demo for Devil May Cry 5, and I'm like, I haven't played a single one of these Devil May Cry games. I missed the bus on that.
What?
But I would go straight to 5, knowing nothing, because it looks that good gameplay-wise. I'm saying it's like, yep, I would play this. Absolutely, I would.
I would encourage you to, like, you can always catch DMC4 the remaster for Xbox One or PS4.
Yeah, you got the PS4 4 remaster. There's the HD 1 through 3 collection, and I can even play the one no one likes, DMC Devil May Cry.
Yeah, so I have DMC, so I can bring that to you when I see you this weekend. Yeah, I would definitely say you would. I'm surprised you haven't played Devil May Cry, like any of them in the series. To be honest, like that is really surprising.
I only came to knowing how much I like the brawler games recently. Like it normally wasn't on my scope of games I pay attention to until I played Platinum games, essentially.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
So, yep, I'm late to the party in that regard, but I'm willing to go back for that. Nier Automata. I still just hold it in high regard because I think about the game a lot. There is a lot to, not all of it's bad, but there's just a lot to digest once you've done playing it, which, as always, telling you as little as possible about this game is the best thing to do. So whenever I've told you about it already, I don't want to tell you anymore.
Word. Then that's where that stays.
I got a couple more games I played this past few. I got to play and complete Transference, the new exciting VR experience game from Spectre Vision. Elijah Wood, he came on stage to 2 E3s. It's like, hey, we got this VR game. It's very cool. I hope you will play it. And I did. Except it wasn't a VR experience because it came out on PC and Xbox One and PSVR. Well, though they gave us the entire idea that this was supposed to be a VR game. And I can see how it would be. But the only thing that VR would enhance in this game is if that would make it scarier. Because it's a scarier game than I was expecting. I was expecting a little bit more sci-fi than horror. However, it's way more horror than sci-fi. And sci-fi horror is in my zone, but this one, the VR would greatly enhance it. But as a game, man, they were hyping this game up so much, and then when it came out, I didn't even know it was out. I didn't see a commercial, I didn't see an ad on YouTube or anything like that. And I have a YouTube Plus account. I'm subscribed to channels. I actively watch trailers when I see it coming out. I saw a post somewhere. It's like, oh, it's out? And yeah, it's not getting the best reviews, is it?
No, it's not. It's getting completely crap reviews. And I think it's because they made that. I think it's because they were afraid to make a solely VR game. And in that fear of making a solely VR game, they went ahead and made a very, very bad game.
Yeah. I wouldn't say it's very bad. It's just... It's relatively unspectacular. It doesn't do anything great. It's scary, but not scary enough. The puzzles kind of lame. It's like a bad version of PT meets Get Even, which is already a game that not too many people are a fan of. Get Even is a game I love that nobody else quite likes as much as I do. Only it's worse than this Transference game is worse than that. This is a game that several people didn't like, and everyone's in agreement.
Oh, man.
Basically, yeah, it's like a 6 out of 10 across the board for most places, 5 out of 10, a bit lower. User score on Metacritic isn't too good, and there's not that many reviewers. No one's going onto it and doing review bombing or anything like that.
Well, that's because not a lot of people played it.
They changed up virtually everything. You spend a lot more time looking at what's in your backpack, what's in your inventory. That's important. And it's a completely different story. They didn't actually go for a sequel to the first game. New story completely. Just takes place in the same universe, same themes, but it's a completely different story. And I think that was good. I think it's going to work out good for them because They could just ride the wave of success that was their first game, just keep throwing that same story at us again and again. They're like, no, we're going to do something else with this franchise now. And they did, and we're only one episode in, and it was actually a hefty episode, longer than most Telltale games. Rest in peace, Telltale games. It's like a good 3.5, 4 hours for the first episode. That's pretty big. That's longer than some other games.
That's actually pretty decent. Like, that's a really good length of time to deliver on an episodic adventure, I think.
Yeah, on as far as a single episode does, it's a great length. So I don't want to say too much about it because that might be spoiler territory, depending on what is spoilers. So I'm just going to leave it there. Check it out. It's going to be different. Have a look.
That's solid. That's definitely solid. Where can people keep up with you? Let's wrap this show up and make it a nice little bow.
All right, so you can check out our website at hardmodegamers.com. You can also find me on Twitter. I don't use it much, but it's Hey It's Chet on Twitter. I got underscores between it. And you can find my Hey It's Chet Twitch space, where actually I don't play games so much as I edit videos for the site, and you can watch me edit videos and learn how to edit videos.
Oh, wow. I didn't even know you were doing that.
Yeah, I'll just broadcast myself editing videos.
That's pretty dope. So by the time this launches, I'll have launched my new Twitter and new Instagram. Those are going to be What Up Vega. So WhatUpVega. And that's on Twitter and on Instagram. So those are probably the easiest ways to get in touch with me now. Yeah, let us know what you think of the show. Reach out, and next week it'll be just as exciting.
I think so. Stay tuned. And let's see, do we want to say anything in the comments? Just give us your questions, as always. Everyone loves answering questions. You got questions, we got answers. Bring it to us.
Boom.